What's going on today, everybody? So I've actually got a snow day from work and I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I need to get started on these taillights. Tired of looking at them, ready to have them done. I want them done for this summer so I can actually have them for the summer setup. And that way, hopefully I can do my headlights and fix my headlights because the ones that are on it have the same problem with the cracks in the plastic. Got some new ones. So anyways, back to the taillights. We need to figure out how we're gonna do it. Been thinking on it, don't have a clue. Wanted to do it from the back so that it has the curve coming up. That way the plastic can melt down and go over it. Not knowing if that's gonna work out or not. I don't like the backs of the taillights because they're going to take a whole bunch of work to do. So I'm going to try to go for the front. Either way, I need to try something. If it doesn't work, then we'll move on to something else. If that one's going to take more time, so be it. But for right now, we need to try something and get something going because this needs to start happening. One thing I'm worried about doing from the top side is that this has a little bit of an edge to it right there. So when I do it from the top, I'll be missing that little thing of plexiglass because I'll have the outside of the skin, then the plastic will fit inside of that. So I don't know how it's gonna work out yet. I don't know how molding it's gonna work. Worried about doing these ones because there's such a concave to them, but I think it'll be fine. We'll figure it out later. Maybe I'll buy a little thicker plastic and it'll be fine. It's not a long span. I'm worried way too much about it and I've been thinking way too much and it's time to just jump in and do it. The other reason I don't want to do things from the back is because I've still got all this stuff and I've got these edges still on this tail light. The outer ones gonna suck. The inner ones be kind of easy. Either way, let's figure it out. I think I'm gonna start with the fiberglass. Let's lay some fiberglass. But since the last episode, I already put a coat on here. They're dusty. I gotta clean them again. I gotta scratch them up so that the new resin will actually adhere to this old resin. And hopefully we can go from there and get things done. Let's get to it. Okay, so I've got everything cleaned up and sanded and then cleaned again. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. You've already seen it. You don't need to see it. I just hit it with a quick little scuff with 150 grit and then clean it again with some glass cleaner. Super easy to do. So now, since I don't want the actual lens to be sitting on the ground, I want my fiberglass to come over and bend down the side. And that way I can trim it down and make it perfect. That way it gives me the perfect edge profile because that's the most important part. That's what sits in the body of the car. So that one has to be pretty dang good for it to look right and for it to actually fit in there. Because otherwise, why not just throw a square piece of plexiglass on the back of it? It does the same thing. So I want it to fit really, really nice and tight, give it that OEM look, but have just flat. I don't want any bumps or anything in it. Now, there is gonna still be the 2 bumps on the outside of the larger ones. That's fine, that's in the mold, but I don't want the little ridges, diffuser ridges. So, I've come up with a little bit of an idea and I hope it works. Instead of just putting a box underneath the lenses so they'll stilt up off the ground and that way I can bend my fiberglass down around the sides, I'm gonna use some of this stuff, some Loctite tight foam. I don't know, I'll give it a try. It hopefully will work. It's gonna be kind of bubbly, but I'm able to actually trim it and I can just put some tape around it and make that be the part that the fiberglass sticks to. So it's trimmable, it will stilt the part up off the ground, and I'll just make a quick little boat for it underneath the part. This is what I'm talking about. I don't want to be able to be laying my fiberglass with it sitting on the ground. And usually you can take something and you can stilt it up and that fixes it, but as soon as you go to put pressure on this side, or you put pressure on this side or something, it just falls and wobbles all over the place. Now you could glue and stick something to it, but hopefully I've made a little boat and that will act as my stilt. So if I flip this over, it will actually stilt the whole thing up. I don't want it to fall over because I'm still trying to use that, but the hope is that with this spray, this Loctite tight foam gaps and cracks, so it shows that that's the structure it's going for. So hopefully we can just spray this in here, give it a quick little bit. It says it takes about an hour to cure, so let it cure, and then hopefully that will stilt all this up. Well, it will, because there'll be a void in there, but hopefully it sticks pretty good to that. I went ahead and taped up this backside too to make sure that I don't know if it'll stick to the glass or not, but the plastic or not. But anyways, threw some on there. We'll do it to all of them. These ones are going to be especially hard because it's going to take a lot of foam with that curve in it. But that will get it all four corners off the ground, and I would need something pretty hefty to actually get it up off, because even putting the tape underneath it, it's still setting down on all four corners. There we go, we got all four of them done. These ones might be a little excessive, that side gets a little bit tall, but I figure I've got this whole can to use, so I might as well use it, and if I need to, I can just trim it off. So we'll go ahead and start putting that stuff in there. We'll try these ones first. Now it says to do half, somewhere on here. It says to do about half of what your full coverage is going to be, and then it will expand a little bit. So I might do a little bit over half, and hopefully it'll bubble over. That way it leaves me a nice smooth top, but all the way to the top of these ones. And then this one I might leave it a little bit lower, depending on how it actually will work. We'll see. Hopefully this tape sticks together good enough. Some of it's only got a little spot here and there holding it on, but only way you're gonna find out is try, right? So we'll give this a try. Definitely didn't go as far as I thought it would, and it's definitely not as self-leveling as I thought it would be, but maybe it will fix itself over time. We will see. Here's what it looks like inside. I definitely thought it was gonna be a little bit more self-leveling, and I thought I would have a lot more than I did. I didn't even get to these two. So, like, this one's probably gonna take a full can to fill it up, and that one's gonna take a full can. But if it's not gonna self-level, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it, because that's what I was hoping for. I guess we shall see how it turns out. Looks like I'm running to the store real quick to try to fill up these other ones. I've got these two already filled in. Might as well have the same problem across the board. That way they're all the same. So I'm gonna run to the store real quick and I will be back. Well, I just got back from the store. I picked up 2 more cans of that stuff, and I get back and it's a little bit more expanded than it was when I left. Yeah, I'll show you. So I don't even know if it's done yet or not because I was only gone about a half an hour, but it's expanded quite a bit from what I had in it. It's definitely firm. It's not pokey anymore, but that was a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Well, it's finally been about 2 hours on this. These ones definitely are still a little, I'd say doughier than these ones. These ones have had about another half hour on top of it, but they're looking pretty decent and they'll actually work decent for what I'm trying to do. So that's all I really needed to do is just sit flat so I have somewhere to peel the fiberglass over and stick it and then something to stilt it up. So that'll work. I do have a couple little dribbles where it's coming out of the side, so I gotta fix a little bit of that, but all in all, worked out pretty decent. Now we gotta figure out how we're gonna trim it. And I think I'm gonna try starting off with a little saw. Maybe I'll take the blade off and just use the blade. But we will see. There it is. This is the, not necessarily the look, but this is the functionality that I'm after. Everything's raised up to where the glass, or the plastic is above the or above the ground. So I'll have somewhere to bend my fiberglass over to, and also stick it to the side. That's not perfect, it's a little rounded at the bottoms, but all I really need is this hard corner right here where the lens ends. That will give me where I need to cut. So, got those done. It was a giant mess. After cutting the initial bottom off, I actually cut it off and it's still pretty doughy inside. See if I can... Still pretty doughy inside. So, it was starting to bubble back over. Well, I didn't want that to happen. I found some cardboard, some cereal boxes, and they're waxy on the outside. Hopefully it won't stick to it. If it does, doesn't matter. I'll just cut it out. But with it still doughy, I flipped it over. Now hopefully that will keep it flat and keep it from really running around, because it seems to be, once you get it in one spot, it just goes everywhere. So I gotta figure out a way to clean it. And then it's starting to poke out through the sides. But that's not a huge deal because all I really need is this spot right up here. Doesn't matter, that's just keeping it stilted up. But we've got all 4 of them done. Now I'll have to get some cleaning on it, which I'll probably let these sit for a while because it's still really, really nasty inside. Well, there we go. We got started on this again. These are gonna cure for a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna take me. I thought I was gonna be able to get some, keep wanting to say carbon fiber, some fiberglass laid down. But with it still being so mushy on the inside, I don't want to risk it. I want to have it set up and cured so I can actually like be hard on it and push on it, whatever, what have you. So, with that said, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna clean this stuff up, and it is, I found out that it sticks everywhere. If you get a little bit started somewhere, it doesn't show up immediately, but it'll start expanding, and all of a sudden you've got little dribbles everywhere. It's making a mess. So I gotta figure out how to clean that up. I'm going to get out of here, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Cool. Peace. Turns out that actually cleaning this stuff up isn't as bad. Just grab yourself a can of brake cleaner and it actually comes off really easy. It kind of takes a couple little squirts, but be very, very careful on where you spray it, because if you're spraying if your overspray hits your part that you're working on, it solidifies it all again for you. So almost got my part, but I managed to notice it right at the last second and moved it away. Brake cleaner cleans off stuff pretty well.